Of course they were afraid. What if one day the Palestinians return? Golda Meir once said, after militias took Haifa in 1948, they found Palestinian homes with food on the table, toys on the floor. Right from the start, their fear was real. What if they come back and demand their land back? So, Israel, which was founded in 1948 after a huge ethnic cleansing operation, legally planned one of the most systematic property thefts in modern history. And they passed the Absentees Property Law in 1950 to make this displacement permanent, to give some kind of legal form to this theft. Even many Palestinians are unaware of this law. Let's learn more about it.
They define an absentee as someone who wasn't in his house or in his land during the war and that was not able to reach it since the war. So 2 years after the creation of the state, they passed this law to create also a custodian to manage these properties as part of a whole institutional setting built to manage the land under the control. So it means that in 1950 you had something like 90% of the land of Israel that was under the custodian of the Absentee Property Law. And people just settled in the houses without any regulation at first. So it was a mess. And the law was passed also to regulate this mess. So it was one of the motives, and the second motive was to try to align in the international law, even if very loosely, to say it was not a theft, but it's an administration of the goods of people that aren't there anymore. It was also a way for the state of Israel, very importantly, to appear as administrator and not as somebody that is only stealing lands from other people.
On the other hand, in 1950, Israel passed another law, the Law of Return, which allows any Jew around the world to become an Israeli citizen and settle in this territory. Of course, they had the right to take everything that once belonged to Palestinians. These two laws, the Absentee Property Law and the Law of Return, mirror each other and are very important to understanding what Israel is today. Around 900,000 Palestinians were forced to flee their homes amid the violence during the Nakba. Their homes, farms, shops, factories, bank accounts, and every little thing you can imagine was placed under Israeli state control. And just when you think it couldn't get more ridiculous, it does. Palestinians who stayed inside Israel's borders were labeled present absentees, physically there but legally erased. Nearly 1 in 4 Palestinian citizens of Israel falls into this category. Many live under protected tenant status, paying rent to the Israeli state for their own homes and allowed to pass the property only to their children. So third-generation Palestinian residents no longer have this protection, meaning their homes can be easily and legally assigned to Jewish settlers.
At first, when I started to learn about it, I was shocked, and at the same time, I was also very interested to see how it was so much complicated and using the law and administrative tools in order to hide the theft. And what was for me shocking, and I felt like engaged for it, is to see Palestinian families being locked into procedures for decades and having to explain themselves in front of courts for decades since 1948. The main concern I had was to understand what is lawfare, because part of Israeli warfare and colonization process also passed through lawfare and through putting people into very, very complex administrative labyrinths that allow the authority to hide their theft and to protect themselves from claims, because it's so complicated. So even if I would take the time to explain you in few words what it is, it would take 3 hours, 4 hours just to go inside what it is. And anytime I had the chance to talk with Palestinian lawyers, for example, they would always show me the tens or thousands of books they have to know just in order to go in court to claim for different cases. So this is really part of the Israeli domination system to use administrative and legal intimidation and justification to lock Palestinians into procedures.
If millions of Palestinians return, can Israel remain a Jewish state? Israel had a cruel plan for demographic engineering to secure a Jewish majority in the new state and legally prevent Palestinians from returning. That's why this law is not just about property. It's the center of the struggle against Zionism. Remember Ben Gurion's word about the Nakba. The old will die and the young will forget. But the Palestinian youth did not forget. Today, millions of Palestinian refugees still live in camps in Lebanon and Syria, crowded neighborhoods in Gaza, and scattered around the world, demanding their right to return. The memory of Palestine lives on with millions who still carry the keys to their homes. And maybe that's why Israel is still afraid of their return.